The Daily Record High School Football Insider Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, is back for Week 3. I'm sports editor Aaron Dorkson along with Mike Plant. Mike, it's hard to believe we're already going to be talking about wrapping up the non-conference portion of the schedule. We're excited to have Buffalo Wild Wings as our sponsor. Encourage everybody to go up there and check out their great facilities and food. We plan to actually produce 2 online video shows later this season. We'll be up on location at Buffalo Wild Wings. Watch for announcements on the dates and what teams we're going to invite up there.
Yeah, Aaron, we're both looking forward to taking our show on the road to B-Dubs, and watch for us next week sometime as we're going to journey down to the Wayne County Fair for our annual meeting with giant horses and things like that. But getting back to the present, a number of teams, Aaron, are off to great starts and individuals, including Triway, got a big win last week over Orville. Quarterback Sean Lacey, 507 passing yards. You think of all the great records that Parker Carmichael, the graduated Parker Carmichael, set. That 507 yards, Aaron, is number 2 all-time on the single-game passing list. So Sean is a senior first-year starter, is off to a good start. Logan Garrett and Kyle Strock both had double-digit catches last week as the Titans rolled up 49 points in beating Orville. Hillsdale's off to a 2-0 start. They've outscored 2 opponents, overmatched them really, outscoring them by a combined 74-7 last week in a big shutout win on the road at Willard. The Falcons rushed for 255 yards, Aaron, and they're getting balance in their backfield between Ethan Elliott, Craig Klein, and a couple other kids, and sophomore quarterback Trey Williams continues his solid start last week, 12 out of 16 for 143 yards. And finally, Waynedale, which has won 2 games pretty easily at home. Last week beat Ridgewood, perennial playoff contender Ridgewood. On one side of the fair, the Golden Bears got Reed Stanley back last week for the first time this season. He only played one way. He's expected to be in action on both sides of the ball Friday against Triway. A couple other kids stepped up. Aaron Spidell had 3 touchdowns, including a couple touchdown catches from quarterback Brevin Reeby. The defense allowed Ridgewood, which is usually pretty good offensively, only 121 total yards. And one key stat for the Golden Bears, 0 turnovers, which usually spells success for them.
Yeah, those teams are off to nice starts. Worcester proved it's not how you start, but how you finish. Unbelievable second half up at Wadsworth last Friday. They actually trailed at the half, 28-0 unanswered in the second half to win 35-14 in a battle of 2 teams coming off playoff seasons. Trey Mathis had what would be one of the runs of the year. It's too bad we couldn't have like a Sports Center top 10 and have film so everyone could see some of these great plays that we see when we go out. He had a second half run where he was just stopped and somehow almost on all fours and broke it for 49 yards. He's really already a star as a sophomore. Got his shot due to an injury. Quarterback Peyton Bennington, 3 touchdown passes, and Nick Ballard came up with 2 big fumble recoveries. So a nice start for Worcester. Chippewa, unbelievable so far. They've been complete mismatches as they're 2-0 with 66 points a game for Coach Mike Boley. It just, all these big WCAL scores have me looking forward to league play to see how it's all going to shake out. And talking about lopsided scores, Smithville 74-12 over Akron North. So again, it was almost like a glorified scrimmage as they, you can only play who's scheduled, and some years those Akron City school teams are a little bit better, but North has been really overmatched against Northwestern. Now Smithville, Justin Pfaff, 6 total touchdowns in that game. Let's take a break and hear from our sponsor, Buffalo Wild Wings, and then we'll be back to look more closely at this week's games.
I'm me, and I used to be just like you, watching one game at a time, eating terrible snacks. Ugh. But thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings' 17-week program, I am now football rich. Now, I'm not talking dollars rich. I'm talking all the games, great food, beer, chairs. But don't just take my word for it. Take somebody else's word for it.
Before the B-Dubs program, I thought I was football rich. Turns out, I'm just rich from football.
Damn. Fantastic. If you've ever dreamt of swimming in a sea of football riches, now is the place.
Welcome back to the Daily Record's High School Football Insider. Alongside sports editor Aaron Dorkson, I'm Mike Plant, and real briefly, Aaron, let's take a look at the Week 3 games. We'll start with the Green Bulldogs coming up to play Worcester as the Generals bid to go 3-0 for the first time since 2010. You touched in the first segment on Peyton Bennington's 3 touchdown passes. Aaron, he threw those to 3 different receivers, Eddie Rooney, Calvin Blair, and Colt Morgan, while Trey Mathis did his business going for 191 yards, giving him close to 300 yards in 2 games. And that's without even Tremaine Wilson, their outstanding running back. They're expecting to get the bulk of the carries this year. He's still battling an injury to his pinky. We always talk, Aaron, year after year about Worcester's great offenses. This year their defense has been stellar. Not only have they outscored their 2 opponents 48-0 in the second half, they've given up just 4 third-down conversions while converting almost 50% themselves. Green comes in 1-1, not quite as good as they were last year when they knocked off the Generals 21-20. So I think Worcester is going to be looking for their revenge. I think they get it this Friday at Fallis Field. And in the other matchup I'm going to look at here, Smithville hosting Fairless. Just got off the phone with Brent Bezanson, Smithville's coach, a few minutes ago, and he was very impressed with Fairless's defense. Garraway has scored a lot of points the last couple of years. Last week, Fairless held them to just 13 and picked off a 16-13 victory that makes the Falcons 2-0. While their defense has been impressive, quarterback Christian Simmons last week was 25 of 35 for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's a threat through the air, while Smithville, as you mentioned in the first segment, do most of their damage on the ground. Cody Tipple, Michael Leneker have over 600 yards rushing between them. Quarterback Justin Fath has been real efficient. And the defensive line has been a bright spot, Aaron, so far this year. Even with a couple guys missing last week due to injury, John Kelby and Cole Ullman, they're expected back, and along with Wyatt Loving, Michael Thompson, and Brent Rosenbaum, they've been pretty formidable for the Smithies along the front wall. So that should be another great game over at Smithy Stadium.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see what Smithville can do going forward, and especially in this one. 2 games I'm going to take a closer look at right now are Waynedale at Triway. I've never seen a game like this, and neither is the area. It was 74-47 last year. It set all kinds of all-time area records, including the most points between 2 schools. They topped 1,300 total yards. It was unbelievable. And the way these teams are scoring points this year, and Triway's had trouble stopping people at times. This could be another high-scoring game. If you're going to pick a favorite, I guess I'd still go with Waynedale because of their big senior class. This has kind of been pointed as their year, and even Tony Lee was talking about how last year everyone knew that was all Triway seniors, but the Titans have looked really good as they've reloaded. Waynedale, though, with those leaders like Nick Strasbaugh, Reed Stanley, and Brevin Reeby, they're going to have to go on the road, though. They really need this game to get their confidence going. Triway, on the other hand, can really announce its presence as a legitimate playoff team, too. These 2 teams are in the same Division V playoff region, so it's never too early to look ahead at the playoffs. This could be big points on the line here with the way Sean Lacey's playing, and a lot of other people have stepped up. Strock and Durbin have really been playing well for Triway, even at linebacker, Coach Tony Lee was talking about, so should be a great game. Talking about another great matchup, Loudonville going to Hillsdale. Both of these teams were playoff teams last year. They're both off to 2-0 starts. Quarterback Austin Van Sickle has made the transition very nicely from wide receiver. He has 8 combined touchdowns so far in 2 games. Mike, you mentioned Trey Williams playing well at quarterback. Hillsdale always seems to have a good running attack, and they play good defense, so that'd be a real good litmus test to see where those teams are at going into that game.
It also helps that there's really no love lost between those 2 schools, so it's always a knockdown, drag-out affair. And the rest of the schedule, real quickly, Medina Buckeye will be at Cloverleaf at Gene Clark Stadium. The Colts, tip of the cap to new coach Justin Voorhees. They got a 9-6 victory in overtime last week over Keystone, his first career win. Northwest will make a short trip over to Orville, and Coshocton will come up Route 83 to take on West Holmes as the Knights try to get back on the winning trail.
And to wrap up the Wayne County Athletic League schedule, Mike, Rittman will be looking to go 3-0, as will Northwestern. The Indians will be going to Mapleton, the Huskies to Columbia. Also, we're going to have Tuslug at Chippewa, Clearview at Dalton. That's only 7:30 start of the week. And Norway going to Manchester. This concludes the Week 3 edition of the Daily Record High School Football Insider. And as always, we thank our sponsor, Buffalo Wild Wings of Worcester.
And be sure to check out Saturday's Daily Record and read the High School Sports Extra, or Saturday Sports Extra. It'll have all the game coverage from Friday night. And thanks for watching and reading. See you next week.